Welcome to Brilliantly British. My name is Lawrence and today I'm going to show you how to make a deliciously addictive Scottish tablet. If you've never heard of it before, you are in literally for the biggest, the sweetest of treats. So as I show you how to make it, sit back, relax with a cup of tea in hand, putting your feet up too, and enjoy this episode. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. If you didn't know this already, the Scots, believe it or not, are masters when it comes to satisfying those of us with a sweet tooth. To prove this point, we'll be showing you how to prepare the decadent confectionery item Scottish tablet, named, I believe, due to its resemblance to the local sandstone used for the building of Scotland's iconic cities. Crumbly, buttery, and of course, sweet, the making of this beautiful, distinguished indulgence is straightforward to prepare and definitely very, very fulfilling to consume. Wow. So, with the introductions made and your interest piquing, allow me to introduce the ingredients to you. For today's Brilliantly British Scottish tablet, you will need some white caster sugar, some full fat milk, some evaporated or condensed milk, some butter, ideally homemade Brilliantly British butter. Follow the link up there to learn how to make it yourselves. After this episode, you will need some vanilla extract, and finally, you will need a pinch of salt. That's it for the making of today's Brilliantly British Scottish tablet. But before you get started, before you do anything at all, I say switch on your kettle, brew yourself a nice cup of hot tea so that you can sip on that whilst you cook. All right, for the sweetest of Scottish treats, over a low heat in a relatively deep saucepan, start by melting some butter along with your evaporated or condensed milk with some salt, while stirring gradually. With the butter now molten, add your sugar followed by your whole milk and a splash of vanilla essence. Continue to stir in order to evenly warm and dissolve the sugar, and at this point, turn the heat up to a medium level. But in the meantime, or whilst stirring, take the time to enjoy some of the other content on the channel, not forgetting, of course, to like and subscribe. The contents, as you can see, are at a temperature of 108 degrees Celsius. And at this temperature, it will begin to froth and foam. Hence my earlier advice regarding the use of a relatively deep saucepan. Anyway, the goal here is to heat the mixture to a temperature of 120 degrees C. So, in other words, keep going and remember to stir often, if not constantly, albeit gently. The mixture will darken and thicken, which will indicate a change of state and temperature. So intermittently probe the contents in search of that all-important target temperature. And in no time, just like that, you, like me, will hit 120 degrees. You'll now need to immediately switch off the heat and then turn into a glass or a metal bowl, as plastic won't be able to withstand the heat. Tablet should have a short, chalky texture, and the way that this is achieved is by whisking or beating it whilst still molten hot. This method forms smaller sugar crystals which are responsible for its great texture. You'll need to do this for 10 minutes as it cools, but from time to time scrape the sides before continuing in order to prevent large crystals from forming. I must say that making this was very therapeutic, especially when it begins to thicken. I mean, isn't this the most beautiful sugar lava that you must not stick your hand into that you have ever seen? So after 10 minutes of beating and scraping, the mixture should have become much more viscous. And so, stir and fold, bringing everything together, then in a paper-lined baking tray, and yes, it's still hot, turn out your mixture evenly, distributing it within your tray. With that done, sit back, relax, with a cup of tea in hand, whilst enjoying some Brilliantly British content, for you will now need to wait for this to cool completely. Alright, we have a cooled and somewhat solid Scottish block, which smells fantastic. But if you'll remember, we intend to hew out tablets. And so with a sharp knife, mark, then divide the block into tablets. The sizes are entirely up to you, but when cutting, ensure that you cut through gradually in order to preserve the structural integrity and texture of your homemade Scottish confectionery. So, now that you have tablets, I think there's just one more thing left to do, namely tasting. Are you ready? Are you steady for the sweetest, the greatest of Scottish treats? 3, 2, 1. Wow. Surprisingly, there's so much flavour here and texture. It's buttery, creamy. It just melts on contact with your tongue. Of course, it's sweet, and I have probably the sweetest tooth. And then you've got the crumbliness of it. It's a bit chalky because this is actually, it may look like fudge to you, but this is very, very, very different. Oh, it's so distinct, so unique, and oh, it's amazing. And then, do you know the best thing of all? These two have to be consumed together. Tea, Scottish tablet. I don't think it gets much better than this. So, with that being said, please, 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 when time allows, when you get the chance, make this treat. Please. Thank you all for allowing me to show you how to make a Scottish tablet. Knowing that you liked this episode, don't forget to click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button so that you don't miss any of our new releases. Tell everyone you know about the brilliantly British food on this channel, and follow us on all of the social media platforms that this channel is on, and I will see you next time.